Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this is an introduction to the video. I just want to say there should be timestamps in the description, and if you're on desktop or on iOS, it should show up as little segments on the timeline. So feel free to jump to the position you need help with, and of course ask for more, ask questions in comments. I'll try to get back to you. Uh, hope I help you. So assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz. Enjoy the video. Hi, assalamu alaikum. So this segment of the video is for showing you how to make the Mac OS installation on a Windows machine. So I will leave these links in the description. So you just have to go to each of them. So gibMacOS is the first one. Go to code and download zip. And I have a little folder in desktop called macOS. I'm going to save everything here. Save. Go to the profzei's GitHub and download everything from there. Code, download zip. Save it. Go to open this link about to get the Wi-Fi working. Heliport, click this. Save it. We need property and mount EFI. So mount EFI and property are just tools that are useful in Hackintosh. And the first two are getting the installation working. I'm going to minimize this and go into desktop, macOS. And first of all, I'm going to unzip this. So after unzipping, we open it up, go to gibMacOS, and we right-click gibMacOS.bat and run it as administrator. And we give it the admin permissions. Once that's done, it may ask you to install Python. You just have to say click Y and enter. Then it should install Python for you. So here we're presented with some options. We have to press R to get recovery mode only because that's what we need. So it brought up some new options. Once we have them, we go up to the top, see which is the latest version. So I'm seeing that the latest full install is 10.15.6, and that's number 4. So I'm going to go down to here and click 4 and then enter. And then it will download it for us. Once that's done, we can close out this command prompt. And next we go back again here into gibMacOS and make install.bat, right click it, run it as administrator, give it the permissions. Once it has the permissions, it should come up with these options. So here's my flash drive that I intend to wipe and have it be the macOS install. So yeah, you're going to lose all the data here. So make sure you back the data up from this one, this flash drive. So I'm going to go ahead and select number 2 because that's the flash drive. So I'm going to come here and type 2. And we're going to use OpenCore. So use OpenCore instead of Clover. So O. So 2O and press enter. Yes, I'm going to lose all my data on the flash drive. That's fine. So Y, enter. There it goes. Does all the work for me. And now it wants the recovery update package path. To get that, you go back into the folders and click macOS downloads, public release, the version, and go up here into the address bar and just copy the address and go back into the command prompt, paste it by right click and enter. And this process will take a little bit. And after this is done, it'll install OpenCore. So once the macOS install is made, it'll go ahead and install OpenCore. Here it is, just about finished up, and we're good. So it's installed OpenCore and macOS for us. So I'm good to just close out of this. So next we're going to unzip this profzei's GitHub. We're going to go into here. I go into OC because that means OpenCore. I'm going to copy everything and Control C, or I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and go into boot on the flash drive, go into EFI, OC, and select everything here and delete and paste the things we copied earlier. That seems good. So next up, I'm gonna fix up I just learned the Wi-Fi you can fix up before pre-install. When I did it post-install, but I'll show you how to do it pre-install. So we're gonna go into config.plist, open with, I believe Notepad should work. And I'm gonna go into the network section in profzei's GitHub. I'm gonna scroll down and come down to this area. So I'll just copy ITLWM and Control F, ITLW. That should give me the result. So here's this bit. We're looking for this false right here. We're gonna highlight that and make that true. And I'm gonna go to File and Save. So that's good. And we go back to desktop, macOS, Heliport again, and these two packs. We go ahead and copy, go into boot, EFI, OC, text, and we can paste it here. If I open it, it should say contents, and then we're good. So essentially, we're ready to boot into macOS from this flash drive. However, before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and copy property, mount EFI, the GitHub, and Heliport to the flash drive. This should make the post install much easier. And at this point, we're ready to use this flash drive to install macOS on our Matebook X Pro. Okay, so this is the next part of the video. So this is actually on the Matebook X Pro, and I have the flash drive connected. So before we go to installing macOS, we have to make sure some settings in the BIOS are as it is on mine. So I'm going to go ahead and press power button and then hold F2. And this should take me into BIOS, as it did. I'm going to scroll down, so some of my settings or some of my serial numbers and whatnot aren't visible. Okay, so there's a couple of things you have to make sure that they are correct. Secure boot has to be disabled. If you haven't installed any other operating system on this laptop other than Windows, this is likely unenable, and you have to disable to be able to boot macOS. And you have to make sure the USB is above the internal SSD. And how you do that is just you go into it and you click F5 and F6 till the USB drive is on top. I'm not going to show you because that will bring up the serial number again. So just try getting that to the top. Once you've done that, click F10 and then enter, and this will save the settings. And now it should boot from the flash drive as it's booting up. And it'll have this little option. We're trying to get to macOS base system, so that's the external SSD, external flash drive. We click enter, and this should bring up this Apple logo and a very slow loading progress bar. I'll continue the video when the progress bar is done. Okay, so after the progress bar, I believe it should give you an option to choose language. I may have missed it, but it doesn't matter. It appears to be in Italian. So once you're here, you go into utility disk. and you select your internal SSD. So for me, it's named macOS because I already have macOS installed in it. Then you go into partition. Well, actually, since you're likely coming from Windows, you'd first have to go into erase it. I don't understand Italian very well. I believe partition should work just fine. And I would just delete all the partitions here and make one single partition that is APFS and has the entire thing formatted as APFS. And that should do it, but I don't want to format my own because that's going to ruin my Mac. That's going to ruin my personal data and whatnot. So once you've formatted your internal storage as APFS, you can click reinstall macOS. And it should bring up this. So once you click continue and select your so this step requires internet. So I'm gonna pause the video and connect to Ethernet. Actually cancel that. So at this point, you should, after you connect to Ethernet, it should detect that, and you should be able to press continue. And after pressing continue, all you have to do is select the internal SSD, and it'll install it to the internal SSD. After that, you just leave it for about 30 minutes, and it'll download everything and install it. However, there is a way to avoid using Ethernet, and that is by making the USB in macOS, because it allows you to use the full macOS image as opposed to recovery. So obviously I'm not able to install it right now, but you should be able to, and if you have Ethernet. And that's about it. I'll move on to post-install. So once macOS has been installed, you still have to have the flash drive to turn on your Mac or your Matebook. To do that, you just so once you still have the flash drive connected, you press the power button, and what we should have a few extra options here. So instead of going into macOS base system, we go into macOS. This is in our internal SSD this time. So it should boot up and present you with the setting up screen. However, for me, I installed it beforehand, so for me it'll. So as it turns out, the audio for this segment didn't record, so I'll voice over it. So once you've done the post install, you should go through setup just like a regular Mac, but without having internet, and that means not setting up your Apple ID. So once you're done with that, you should be put into the desktop. So with the boot disk, so what we're going to do first is just copy the zip files that we copied from while we were in Windows, and copy them onto our desktop. And first of all, we're going to go into mount EFI to mount the EFI on our internal SSD. So just go into it and click mount EFI.command, double click it, and it should bring up a few options. And so for our case, it says I named my internal SSD macOS. So I'm just going to select 2, and then I have to put my password. And once that's done, it should mount the EFI of the internal SSD, allowing us to edit it. So after that, we can close out the terminal and close out mount EFI. And now you can see there's EFI with which is blank. This should be the same for you. And to fix that, all we do is just copy the boot and EFI from the flash drive, copy that and paste, or we can drag and drop it into the internal SSD EFI. I had a little bit of trouble, but this is okay. You shouldn't have this. This is because I did it on a machine which already had an EFI before, but this is what it should look like when you do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste it into EFI. See, and you should have that with a little copy sound along with it. So now we're fine to just unplug the flash drive because the computer can boot by itself because there's a EFI within the internal SSD. So next up, we're gonna get Wi-Fi working. Even though we set up the kext and have the um, config.plist all set up, we don't have Heliport, which is needed for like joining internet. So this is Heliport. You just open it, drag it into your applications, and you're golden. And it shows up as a little icon, just like the actual Mac OS on the menu bar. And when you set it up, it'll also ask you to allow it to turn on every time you turn on your Mac. I recommend you enable that. And once I'm done with that, I like to go to the GitHub and check if there's anything more I should do or recommended on the GitHub. So I just go to profzei's GitHub. While I'm going in the video, I want to mention I forgot to mention how to do the audio MIDI. Uh, Doing how to do that is on my previous video. It's pretty simple. You just go to set up audio MIDI and make one speaker out of the two. So I just go in here, and when I set it up, I just copy I copied each of these commands and put it into terminal and press enter, and it just did its thing. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that. I just did it because I found it being there. And there's optional stuff. I didn't do that one. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You should have a working Mac now, except the audio because I didn't show that. And for the Apple ID, I'm gonna go ahead and link this video. This video describes it way better than I would be able to. This is a video I used, so I'm gonna link that in my description. Yeah, thank you. If you have any more questions, the comments are down there.